Charlotte Claeys, and I am the secretary of the Royal Oak High School Drama Club. Due to COVID-19, Drama Club has not been able to meet in person. So today we bring you a trio of spring plays. So we had wonderful work done from Natalie, our treasurer, to put together these plays that were filmed virtually. We had our amazing backgrounds made by our props team, and of course we have some fantastic performances by our Royal Oak High School performers. So without further ado, please enjoy.
You wish to see me?
Yes.
What can I do for you?
Give me back my husband.
Give you back your husband?
Yes. You are wondering which one he is. He is a blonde man, not very tall, wears spectacles. He is a lawyer, your manager's lawyer. Alfred is his first name.
Oh, I have met him. Yes.
I know you have. I implore you, give him back to me.
You mustn't mistake my silence for embarrassment. I'm simply at loss because I don't quite see how I can give you back your husband when I haven't got him to give.
But you just admitted that you knew him.
Well, that scarcely implies that I've taken him from you. Of course I know him. He drew up my last contract, and it seems I have seen him once or twice since then, backstage. A rather nice-spoken, fair-haired man. Did you say he wore spectacles?
Yes.
I don't remember him with spectacles.
He probably took them off. He wanted to look his best to you. He is in love with you. He never takes them off when I'm around. He doesn't care how he looks when I'm around. He doesn't love me. I implore you, give him back to me.
If you weren't such a very foolish young woman, I should be very angry with you. Wherever did you get the idea that I have taken your husband from you?
He sends you flowers all the time.
That's not true.
It is.
It isn't. He never sent me a flower a day in his life. Did he tell you he did?
No, I found out at the florist's. The flowers are sent to your dressing room twice a week and charged to him.
That's a lie.
Do you mean to say that I am lying?
I mean to say, someone is lying to you.
And what about this letter?
Letter?
He wrote it to you, and he said...
He wrote it to me. Let me see.
No, I'll read it to you. My darling, shan't be able to call for you at the theater tonight. Urgent business. 1,000 apologies. 10,000 kisses. Alfred.
Oh!
I found it on his desk this morning. He probably intended to send it to the theater by messenger, but he forgot it. And I opened it.
Oh dear, you mustn't cry.
Why mustn't I? You steal my husband and I mustn't cry. Oh, I know how little it means to you, and how easy it is for you. One night you dress like a princess, and the next night you undress like a Greek goddess. You blacken your eyebrows and redden your lips, and wax your lashes and paint your face. You have cosmetics and bright lights to make you seem beautiful, and author's lines to make you seem witty and wise. No wonder a poor, simple-minded lawyer falls in love with you. What chance have I against you in my cheap little frock? My own lips and eyebrows, my own unstudied ways. I don't know how to strut and pose and lure a man. I haven't got Mr. Shakespeare to write beautiful speeches for me. In reality, you may be more stupid than I am, but I admit that when it comes to alluring men, I am no match for you.
This is a very interesting case.
What is?
Yours.
Mine? What do you mean?
I mean that he never sent me a flower or a letter or anything else. Tell me, haven't haven't you and your husband been getting on rather badly of late?
Yes, of course.
You used to be quite affectionate to each other,
Why, yes.
but now you've become quite cold.
Yes.
Ah, a typical case. My dear, if you knew how often we actresses meet this sort of thing, it is perfectly clear that your husband is playing a little comedy to make you jealous, to revive your interest in him.
Do you really think that? Do you mean to say that such a thing has happened to you before?
Endless times. It happens to every actress who is moderately pretty and successful. It is one of the oldest expedients in the world, and we actresses are such conspicuous targets for it. There's scarcely a man connected with the theater who doesn't make use of us in some way. You have orchestra leaders, authors, composers, lawyers, even the managers themselves. To regain the affections of a wife or a sweetheart, all they have to do is invent a love affair with one of us. The wife is always so ready to believe it. Usually we know nothing of it. But even when it does come to our notice, we don't mind it so much. At least we have the consolation of knowing we are the means of making a mini-marriage happy, which might have other ended in divorce court.
But how could I know?
There, dear, you mustn't apologize. You couldn't know, of course. It seems so plausible. You fancy your husband in an atmosphere of perpetual temptation, in a backstage world full of beautiful sirens without scruples or morals. One actress, you suppose, is more dangerous than 100 ordinary women. You hate us and fear us. None understands that better than your husband, who is evidently a cunning lawyer. So he leaves a letter behind him on his desk. Trust the lawyer never do that unintentionally. He orders flowers for me by telephone in the morning and cancels the order when he reaches his office. By the way, hasn't he a lock of my hair?
Yes, in his desk drawer. I brought it with me.
Yes, they bribed my hairdresser to steal from me. It is a wonder I have any hair left at all.
Is that how he got it?
Well, I can't imagine how else. Tell me, hasn't he left any of my love letters lying around?
No.
Oh, don't be alarmed. I haven't written him any.
Then what made you...
I might have, if he had come to me frankly and said, I say, Sarah, will you do something for me? My wife and I haven't been getting along lately. Will you write me a passionate love letter that I may leave lying around the house so that she may find it? I should have certainly done it. I would have written a letter that would have left you weeping into your pillow for a fortnight. I wrote 10 like that for an eminent playwright once. But he had no luck with them. His wife was such a proper person that she returned them all to him unread.
How clever you are. How good.
My dear, I am neither better nor worse than any other girl in the theater, even though you do consider us such monsters.
I have been a perfect fool.
Well, you do look a bit silly, standing there with tears in your eyes, face flushed with happiness, because you've discovered that a small blonde man with spectacles loves you after all. No man deserves to be adored as much as that. But then it's your affair, isn't it?
Yes.
Yet I want to leave you with this parting advice. Don't let him fool you like this again.
He won't. Never fear.
No matter what you find in his pockets, letters, handkerchiefs, my photograph, no matter what flowers he sends, letters he writes, or appointments he makes, don't be taken in a second time.
You may be sure of that. And you won't say anything to him about my coming here, will you?
Not a word. I'm angry with him for not coming to me, frankly, for permission to use my name the way he did.
You are a dear, and I don't know how to thank you.
Oh, dear. You mustn't begin crying all over again.
You have made me so happy.
Bye now. All right, Alfred. You can come in now. She is gone.
How things have changed. How things have changed. I should never have believed it possible.
Rot, silly rot, what is the world coming? I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon. I thought that I was quite alone.
You were referring to the dancing.
Quite right, quite right. My word, it's preposterous, isn't it?
You mean so unconventional?
That's hardly a word for it. Hardly a word for it.
These coming out parties are not what they used to be when...
Coming out. My word, no one seems to be in these days.
I mean the young ladies. I mean the young ladies.
Exactly. The young ladies. Upon my word, there doesn't seem to be much left for them to come out of. God, they all seem to be arm and leg and limb.
Won't you sit down, Colonel?
General, madam. General.
General. Pardon my mistake. Oh yes, we were speaking of the dancing. The world moves so fast nowadays, and I suppose the dances must keep up with the world.
The world running away with itself.
It was different when we were young. But we must be tolerant. We're old people now.
Old? I beg your pardon. Not old, madam, not really old. Middle-aged. Yes, perhaps, yes. Middle-aged, but not old.
Ah yes, that's it. Middle-aged.
There goes that unspeakable music again. That infernal racket. Awful. Yes, I dare say you are right, quite right. Times do change and they seem to be going backwards rather than forwards, but we have to accept the facts.
Unfortunately.
I had hoped that when I accepted the invitation for the ball tonight that I would find something to remind me, even remotely, of my youth, but on my word, they've even done over the house.
Oh, you've been here before, may I ask?
Yes, done over the house. In this horrible modern way, too.
Oh, you see, I know this house quite well. And I believe nothing has been changed.
Nothing changed. Really? Well, it seems changed. Perhaps it's I who've changed. Perhaps it's I who've changed.
Perhaps you know when one grows old.
Old, madam? Old?
Or should I say, middle-aged? When one reaches...
Middle-aged? Why, I'm just in the prime of my life. Just in the prime. I don't feel a day over 20. Not even a day. Why, at the War Office, they still call me Rochelle.
Rochelle?
Yes, at the East Indians United Service, they call me... You won't believe this. Look, they call me Roach. Not to my face, mind you, but they do still call me Roach.
Rochelle, East Indian United Service Club, may I ask?
Yes, that's it. You see, I'm not so old, madam. Of course, I have accomplished a great deal during the short time I have been in His Majesty's service. It's 41 years ago tomorrow, actually, that I went out and I've seen service. My word, for a young chap, have I seen service.
42 years ago?
Yes, quite right. And as I was saying, I had hoped to find something for my youth here. Some old corners and nooks and faces and something old familiar faces. One in particular?
Then you.
Oh dear, yes, very much so. I suppose every youngster is until he or she gets some sense. I was very much in love at the time. Foolishly so. I couldn't live without her and all that sort of thing. She was a snappy little thing. Clever, pretty, very pretty, as I remember. Blue eyes and golden hair, you know, that sort of girl.
quite forgot the young lady.
Yes, I quite forgot her, Like, life in the service is so strenuous, Besides, there's hunting and polo and that sort of thing.
And married someone else?
Oh, never! Oh, I beg your pardon. No, I never married. I hadn't the time, matter of fact.
And the young lady?
I dare say she's the mother of a large family now. Dear me, how times do change. As I was saying, I was very much in love with her at the time. You understand. But the family, her family, you see, they rather objected to me. So I broke off the whole affair and I joined the Indian service. And I've been quite content. Quite.
Yes, and never thought to try to see the young lady when you returned to England?
See her? Oh dear, no, it might be rather embarrassing for the both of us. You see, we were practically engaged at the time, and that is, I hadn't come right down to asking, but you know how some things are understood, so to speak.
But you went away and left.
Not exactly left her. Let me see. As I recall it, I believe I did ask her to marry me.
And she refused?
Let me see, did she refuse? No, now I remember. She said that we would have to think it all over very carefully. Yes, that's it, her words, very carefully. I remember how she would wrinkle up her little snub nose.
Man, that is...
Yes, her little snub nose. Mind you, it was a nice little nose.
And did you think it over carefully? Very carefully?
Not at all. I was a bit of a wild dog in those days, you know, like most young people. My pride was hurt. I was a proud young lady, and like most proud young people, you understand, I had expected her to fall into my arms and live there happily ever after. Well, that is not in my arms, but you know, but...
As your wife. I understand.
As my wife, yes.
You were romantic, you...
Very exceedingly so. I believe I must have been reading Disraeli's novels at the time. Rubbish.
And quite lost all trace of the young lady.
Quite. Oh, I was a conceited young ass, like most young people, you know. I wouldn't have written for the world. Several years afterwards, I read in the Times that Anne...
Anne?
Yes, Anne. Pretty name, isn't it? I was always fond of the name. As I was saying, several years afterwards, I read in the Times that she had gone with her father to Florence. And since then, nothing.
And so your romance ended?
It will never... Yes, quite so. It ended.
And you never married?
No, and at the time, always busy. Oh, I did think of it now and then, not often, mind you, but, you know, now and again. Life in the service does get lonely sometimes, when hunting season is off, especially.
Oh.
I don't mind saying that someone should get married. Yes, indeed, my word, I did need someone to take care of me. Someone to...
You've outgrown that need.
Yes, quite, I'm quite capable. Quite. There goes that infernal music again.
Why, it's a waltz. Yes. A waltz. What happy days those were. Music brings back so many memories. And the young people are happy too. God, it must have been 42 years ago. I too could dance and laugh as they. But...
You really?
Yes, in this very house. 42 years ago.
42 years ago? Upon my word, so long is that?
Is it?
42 years. 42 years. I say, we must have known each other then.
Perhaps. Perhaps.
Do you know, I believe I didn't catch your name? Awfully stupid of me, awfully. I have the pleasure of...
Yes, perhaps we did know each other. And then again, perhaps we didn't.
Quite right. And you've lived in England ever since?
No, after you... That is... I've lived out of England a great deal. I have a small villa near Florence.
Have you really? Delightful place, Florence.
Yes, though a bit lonely at times.
Is it really? You know, I always thought of it as quite gay. It only goes to show how mistaken one can be.
Yes. Yes.
But I suppose you have your children about you and, you know, all that sort of thing.
No, I never married.
That's a bit unusual, isn't it?
Is it?
And I suppose that you never will.
No.
You know, throw on music again.
Perhaps we better join the company, General Farrington.
General Lady Rochelle Farrington?
Oh, I beg your pardon.
And may I have the pleasure of knowing to whom I am indebted for a very pleasant half hour? May I have the pleasure to know to whom I'm speaking?
Yes. I am Lady Anne Treves.
Lady Anne Travers? Not Lady Anne of...
Yes, Lady Rochelle.
Upon my word. Bless my soul, Anne Travers. I might have known you the moment I saw you, but I admit I don't see as well as I used to, and not quite as well. Anne Travers. And to think, after all these years, and in this very house...
Yes, Rochelle.
And you said you never married.
No, I never married.
Upon my word, but I thought...
You were mistaken. It was you I loved then.
And when you said we must think it all over very carefully, you really meant...
Yes, I really meant.
What happy days those were.
What happy days.
My word, is that a waltz that they're playing?
Yes. A waltz.
Anne, would you finish this waltz with me?
Yes, Rochelle.
No, I don't want any oysters or clams. I had enough seafood in Atlantic City to last a season. I think I'll have... Oh, what gorgeous flowers! I love the smell of roses, especially out of season. Well, the other tables haven't any. Fred, did you?
Sure I did, Marion. I knew you'd like them.
I do, but you mustn't be a silly boy any longer, Fred.
I will too. It isn't silly. I'll give you all the flowers in the world.
That's all right, Fred. Goodness knows I like the flowers. I'm not a young idiot who expects her honeymoon to last forever. I've had one experience, you know.
Yes, but you mustn't judge all men by him.
I don't. I know well enough you're different, or I'd never married you. But at the same time...
Well, I'm going to show you that a real man doesn't give over the fun of being married to a peach like you in just 2 weeks.
Well, only I don't want to have you flop all of a sudden like he did. What'll you have, a cocktail?
Let's see. What's the matter, Marion?
Shh, don't turn around.
What's up?
Him.
Him who?
George!
Good Lord, don't worry about him. He doesn't have a thing on you. Plus, you're mine now.
Sure I am. He isn't looking. He's with a woman. By jingo, it's that Taylor girl.
What does it matter? Let him have 100 of them if he wants. We're happy.
The nerve of him. I knew it was her right along. He tried to throw a bluff that it was some swell. I bet he paid good for those clothes.
Oh, come on. What'll you have? Besides, she might have made it herself.
Made him herself? Say, a fine lot you know about ladies' gowns. That came from the Avenue, straight.
What if it did? I'll get you a better one. Just wait.
Shh, he's looking over here.
Look at me, and you won't see him.
The nerve!
What's he done?
He smiled right over at me, like nothing happened. I'll bet he's going to say something mean about me. Oh.
Let's change our seats. I'm hungry.
Change nothing. Catch me giving him a laugh. I could tell her things, the young... There, now she's looking.
What if she is? Say, look here.
He's getting up of all the brass.
What?
He's coming over here.
He is. Don't say a word. I'll take him on.
If he dares...
Hello, Marion. What? Got a sour face on your honeymoon? That's a bad sign, Marion.
I don't see any sour faces around here. Don't you worry. You're the only sour face I've ever had, thank the Lord.
Well then, it isn't every woman who gets rid of an incompatible husband, then gets a hold of a compatible one all in the same season.
Look here, buddy.
That's just like him, coming over here with a grin on like a kid with a new toy. Well, we don't want anything to do with you, see?
Sure. Excuse me for butting in. I just came over to make a little announcement.
Oh, you did? Well, I'm surprised. I didn't think she was the type you had to marry.
Huh? I knew you had your little knife out for her. But why you should be jealous now, I can't see.
I'm not jealous.
What are you worried about then?
I'm not worrying. I'm only sore because you butted in when we were so happy together here without you.
Oh, excuse me. As a matter of fact, I didn't come over here to make any announcement. It's too late for that.
Married already? Anybody'd think you wait a little while for a common decency.
I waited a day longer than you did anyhow.
That's different.
Well, if you don't have any announcement, we would like to get back to our dinner. Why did you...
Yes, what did you butt in for?
Why, I got a letter from your friend Grace, and...
Grace? What did she have to say to you?
She said she was sorry that I had to get a divorce, but I told her...
Sorry you had to get a divorce? Well, if I don't fix her...
Oh, she's getting married now, too.
To who?
That fellow, what's his name? That's got the garage over on 7th Avenue?
Snyder! So he's the one. And I'll suppose she'll be all over town in a new car.
Sure, saw him today. A big yellow one. I always told you she was out for money, and you thought she was in love with Jackson.
Hypocrite. She was, or she told me. Cried all over me. Have you seen Jackson?
Yes, he's as blue as your old kimono. He said...
Look here, Marion. I'm not going to wait all night for my dinner.
Order your old dinner. What did Jackson say, George?